"Where are you off to?" Chris asked, his attention fixed on the iPad screen. Brenda was in the penthouse, gearing up for her day. She had planned a leisurely breakfast followed by a trip to the jewelry store to meet a sales associate about a personal purchase. To her surprise, Chris was at home lounging on the couch, absorbed in his iPad. Since he had already noticed her, sneaking out was now no longer an option.
"No, really, Chris, it's fine. I know how busy you are with work. I just wanted a day to myself,"
Brenda insisted. Chris smiled, appreciating Brenda's consideration of his schedule, but he was now determined to reciprocate. Didn't she realize that her happiness and well-being were vital for their unborn child? "Brenda, you've always said I don't spend enough time with you, so I took your words to heart. I cleared my schedule today because I want to be with you," he told her earnestly. Brenda managed a forced smile, knowing Chris would grow suspicious if she kept making excuses. She resigned herself to postponing her visit to Zaresh's.
"If you insist."
"Ready to go?"
"Oh, I thought we could eat first."
"Well, I'm not super hungry. I'd rather just leave if that's okay." Brenda looked at the full display of food that the chef had worked hard to make.
"Oh, well, I suppose that's all right. We can go now and have this later, sure."
They got in the car and the radio was talking about the same event and praising Sabrina till the cows came home. Brenda endured it to not cause a scene in the car with Chris. But if that wasn't enough, her phone began ringing nonstop. It was the saleswoman at the jewelry store. She couldn't keep her promise to return the fake ring with Chris next to her, so she decided to instead mute the call. At the same time, another call from her father came through. She knew he was just going to ask for progress updates on their plan, which was another thing she needed to hide from Chris. So she muted that call as well and silenced her phone. It felt like she was being rolled from all angles and needed a break from it all. An idea popped into her head and she turned to Chris as he drove.
"Darling, what would it take to offer support to someone else's business?"
She reasoned that it might be easier to ask Chris directly to invest in her father's company, and that way she can get more time to get her engagement and wedding rings. "Why do you ask? You want me to invest in your father's business?" She was shocked he was being so upfront. She understood that her father had not told Chris a single thing so as to not create suspicions. The tides had turned for her in this conversation, and she truly did not know how to respond. In an uneasy state, she racked her brain trying to come up with a response.
"How did you know?"
Chris sighed. Did she take him for a fool? His eyes never left the road. These occurrences were more common to him than people realized. He was no stranger to people trying to get close to him, and they would always beat around the bush about what they wanted and never ask him directly. So he could smell that kind of desire from a mile away. "Well, it's my job to know. I know everything about the bigger companies, and I know about the smaller failing companies like your dad's." Brenda swallowed hard. She knew it wouldn't work if she asked directly, so she thought carefully about her next words.
"Oh, so does that mean you know about Sabrina's business then?"
JC Minerals have been doing well pretty consistently. I'm surprised she was able to land herself a top position that fast, though. Brenda caught a glimmer of admiration when he talked about Sabrina's career growth, but she felt it was best to keep something like that to herself.
Did he fall in love with Sabrina again? Or is he just impressed by how much she transformed herself last night?
No, there was no way. She noticed something in what Chris had just said that might cast some doubt about her in his mind.
"You don't think she slept her way to the top, do you?"
she said, playing naive and letting Chris draw his own conclusions. Chris did not react the way she wanted him to. His grip on the steering wheel tightened and his voice became low and angry, almost like a warning. "Brenda, Sabrina isn't like that. She wouldn't do anything like you're saying." Brenda was not expecting that from him.
Why is he making it sound like I'm the one in the wrong? Okay, but she already dated 2 different guys in 2 weeks. She could be pregnant by either of them. Maybe she was sneaking birth control pills while you 2 were together, and that's why you thought you couldn't have kids.
She said it and shrugged it off, recalling how she caught Sabrina vomiting once in the restroom. Chris snapped his head in her direction and let it linger so she felt the heat of his gaze. He slowly reverted his attention back to the road and replied coldly, "Honestly, Brenda, just mind your own business. Now, where am I taking you?" Brenda didn't like where this day was headed.
Hey, this calls out to end of free episodes, and if you want to know what happens next, join the exclusive Pocket FM Dramas membership and get full access to episodes of Lose You to Love Me. Click on link in description to join the membership now.